This is the Evil Never Dies podcast midweek show. Keep it evil, everyone.
The Evil Never Dies podcast.
Welcome back to the Evil Never Dies podcast for episode
301.
201.
And we're both not in good moods. The haunted house was canceled. The entire thing. We did not run one night of it. Not only that, we never even got it completely finished because of a hurricane. And then it rained up until this morning. It was still raining. So, yeah, no haunted house this year. The whole entire thing was canceled, and that's why this guy's giving everybody the finger, because he's pissed. He didn't get to work.
He couldn't do his job.
He never even went outside. He stayed inside the whole time. Just, yeah, we got completely rained out. And this is the first time since I've ever ran these things, which is, God bless, like 2008 off and on, that I ever got completely rained out. Never. I have never gotten completely rained out. So Video Bob was giving me hell saying, you get rained out every year. Well, we did this year. We got completely rained out. So yeah, it's very depressing. And honestly, today is when it hit me the most, because I was trying to clean up Madison's room, and there's Halloween crap everywhere. And I just took the whole day moving stuff around, and I'm just really feel defeated on this whole thing right at this moment. Very defeated.
I'm over it already.
I'm not.
I'm gonna pick up the cemetery here.
That cemetery looks so good.
Yeah, I know.
Hell, the rest of the hunt never even got finished because was it raining about Tuesday?
Yeah.
So usually we put all the electronics.
We could have opened, but we couldn't set.
We could have opened Saturday.
We couldn't set the stuff up. It was still a flood, though.
Yeah.
It was too muddy.
We could have opened Saturday night, but it would have been a shitty show. And honestly, I'd rather not even put on a show as to put on a shitty show.
Exactly.
And it was raining. You know, we had to make a call on this thing so people would know. So, yeah, I kind of feel like we should have tried to open Saturday, but then the animatronics wouldn't have been out. The Frankenstein wouldn't have been built. The Toxic Men wouldn't have been out. It would have been a shitty show. And yeah, it's depressing as shit. I mean, we've been working on this thing so long, but it's over now, man.
I'm being an optimist about it and saying, hey, man, we're set up for next year already. We ain't got to build shit. Minor stuff.
Well, we even got Pumpkin Nestor's swing ready. I don't know where we're going to store that thing. I guess somewhere.
Guess right where it's sitting.
I don't know. I may just leave that whole area as a pumpkin patch year round. I don't know.
Yeah, they're not even everything's not even all out.
So the big thing today was, like I said, Madison's room was trashed, and they actually needed that room this weekend, and I felt like a failure because they couldn't get in it. So that depressed me. So there's also a bunch of wood flooring that Matthew gave us to try to maybe redo the kitchen floor, or maybe even the bedroom floor. He's got extra wooding, and it's all in Madison's room. I got a place in the garage I can put it now. But the big problem was two leather faces in there, one fat and one tall, Abbott and Costello. Well, is Abbott the fat one or Costello the fat one? I don't know.
Abbott was the fat one, I think.
Well, Abbott was in the way. Costello.
No, Abbott was the skinny tall guy. Yeah.
Okay, well, Abbott got moved to a corner, along with Linda Blair, and he's staying. He's going to stay in. Costello was blocking the entire room, so Costello got put away in his box today, and we were talking about selling him, but I don't know. If somebody gives me $350, I'll sell him. Otherwise, I'm keeping him. He's going to stay in his box. His head nor his chainsaw would fit in the box, so they're sitting in the floor by Abbott. Not Greg Abbott. Abbott, the tall 7-foot Leatherface that almost hits the ceiling. It's so tall. So that's out of the way. I moved a lot of other stuff out. Got our cords and our lights in 3 or actually 4 containers, so they won't be hard to find next year.
Did you use some of them new containers?
They're all full, dude.
Really?
We might need 2 more. I don't know.
That ain't a problem. I can get a couple more. Sam's Club's got them cheap, man.
So yeah, anyway, I've got everything in the museum room that's going to go back in the well room for now. It may get moved eventually, but for now it's going back in the well room. And yeah, I've already started putting the crap up. It's very flustering, and that's the word. That's a word I make up. Flustering. That's not a real word. It's my word. Hell, I don't even have my lights on for the show, except for my pumpkin. Well, since Halloween's over, this guy's staying with me. I don't know where he's going to go.
Hit his button and light his eyes up.
He's broke, so we have to hit a button to turn his red lights on.
That's going to get fixed.
You think we can fix it?
I can fix it.
That would be cool, because he might.
Well, I got a new addition to the show too.
I see him sitting back there.
And he's got his Ranger hat on
I see that. And he's fresh from the cemetery, literally.
Yes, he is.
He just got dug up.
So yeah.
But we're gonna keep all the lighting. I think I took it. Obviously, the cords that were just on the ground, I took most of them up. But we're gonna keep the lighting to where we may test that lighting once or twice a month just to see if it still works.
Yep. It ain't gonna hurt that stuff to keep it up.
It's not. It's not at all. It's been out there 2 years, a lot of it. Plus, I'm going to that vampire room and hanging out. I may do shows from there from time to time.
Yeah, need to get that Wi-Fi going better out there.
I do. I got it on the refrigerator now, so it's going good.
Oh, cool.
At least for the front half of the haunt, it'll be for the vampire room. It'll be good.
Well, cool.
This guy's really mad right here. Oops.
Wish mine did that.
I know. I should have gave you this one, but I'm keeping him. If you can fix him, he's going to sit somewhere in the living room. Oh, yeah. I got the living room cleared out of everything. So it's back to normal. Now I've got like 100 Pennywises by the TV, like always, but all the skeleton little animals have left the building.
Oh, yeah. You had all them set out. That's right.
Scarlett's My Little Pony and the mermaid since they're little. So everything's back to evil normal around here. I'm thinking about hanging that vampire bat from the ceiling for the show.
That would look cool.
We'll
like
see.
hang way in the back there. Somehow.
Way in the back.
Or right there where he's at, because he's probably not going to be able to.
No, he's just hanging out for the night. He's mad and he wanted to be shown on TV since nobody got to see him. This guy's got head trauma anyway. When I bought him, his head was cracked open. So Home Depot sold him for half price and they gave me a 2-year warranty on him. So I'm contemplating whether taking him back and seeing what they do with the 2-year warranty, or we just fix him and say, screw it.
They might send a brand new one.
They don't got any. These things have been sold out for 3 months. They sold out in July. This one just happened to be at the Home Depot and he was broke.
Huh.
Well, he worked in the store because I pressed this button and it worked. So I was
they wanted like $100 and something for him, didn't they?
No, that was another one.
Oh.
That one actually stood up on his own. This one, he will stand on his own, but he'll fall down in like 5 seconds. He's drunk. He won't stand up long. He even got a hold of the damn bottle of vodka here. This guy. So that's our haunted house story. We got canceled. I'm sort of depressed over it. I felt like I failed a lot of people, but there really wasn't nothing I could do unless I fucking build tents above all this stuff or put gravel back there. I don't know, man. I thought about going and buying some hay and throwing it, but again, we wouldn't have been able to open because even if I'd have got the hay down, it was too muddy to set anything.
That would be a big mess. Hay would be.
The plugs were all wet, so it was a mess.
Yeah, ain't nothing we can do, man. It
So
is what it is. The only other thing we could do is find a building somewhere.
I wish the hell we could. And there's one right up here on Sylvania that I've went by today, and Lisa's like, "You've always wanted that building." I'm like, "I still do."
Is that the old Maytag place?
No, I don't know about that. It's an old bingo hall.
Oh, okay.
It's Sylvania and Belknap sits back. Used to have a for sale sign on it. Now it's vacant. It don't have any sign on it, but it's just a vacant building. Huge parking lot and a good outside area. It would have been great for a haunted house.
Really?
But
how big is it?
It's big enough for a small haunt.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't turn it into Moxley or the Dark Hour size. But remember, Moxley was in one small building when Richard started, and now he's grown this thing into a.
Yeah.
Hell, it might be the biggest haunt in the area. It might be bigger than the Cutting Edge, honestly. Cutting Edge has a lot of dark areas you just walk through that don't have any haunt. Moxley is completely full of stuff, so
yeah,
definitely bigger than the Dark Hour now. So this would be a small thing, but we ain't gonna be able to do it. We can't even run one outside. I don't know, man. My haunt, I'm about ready to retire again for good. But then I'd have to sell the fat Leatherface and
oh shit. So what else we got to talk about?
well, since we had no haunt, if you remember, I was not going to show up Friday anyway because I was supposed to go to the Kiss concert with Video Bob. And that didn't work out the way I expected. It turned out better in many ways, probably a lot better, because he didn't know what to expect because he told me, he's like, look, he said, they're not like Pantera or any of the other bands. He said, they do everything by the fly of the pants. He said, he said, we won't know anything until the day of the show. I'm like, well, are you sure we can get in? He says, yeah, we can get in, but I don't know to what capacity. So since I was at Friday, I thought we still might have a chance of running Saturday. I was about to go mow the front yard because it was wet but mowable. And Bob texts me and says, you need to get up there as soon as you can. He said, meet me at the ticket. I think they called it will call. So I did. There was a bunch of people there. A lot of them were the VIP people that had bought the $1,000 tickets to, get pictures with Kiss. People had bought sound check tickets, I think they called them. I don't know how much that costs to see the sound check. And then there we were. And Bob, I'm like, well, what are we doing? He says, I don't know, man. He said, Eric's on the plane and they didn't show up to give us our passes yet. So we were just standing around waiting. And I could tell Bob was getting a little irritated because, he's used to just kind of like showing up and getting into this stuff. So we finally got our pass. I don't have it with me, but it was actually an all access backstage pass. So the first thing we did, we got into the arena, then we had to wait for him to set up the sound check. Now it was late because of the fiasco with the VIP. They only had 2 people handing out all the VIP, and they had, I think, platinum, diamond, gold, and silver. And all of them were supposed to be at different tables, and they only had 2 people to do all this stuff. So it was a clusterfuck.
Oh.
Not Kiss's fault. It's whoever runs Kiss's stuff. But we got into the sound check, and that's where it got really cool. Really, really cool. Because, of course, when they sound check, they do it without makeup, and they just play various songs, and it's real laid back. And we were right up there by him.
That's awesome.
So Video Bob, I can say this officially now, he's the voice of Kiss now. He's the announcer that does the intro. You want the best, or you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world, Kiss. That's my friend Video Bob who now does that. So
I've been watching videos from different people from the tour,
Yeah.
and he's on there for sure. You can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah. Since Australia, he's been the main guy. This guy's gonna go take a seat.
Is he had enough?
Yeah, he had his say. So
Shouldn't have gave him them shots of vodka.
he fell out, man. I wish I ought to take a picture of him and put it on the thing. Let's just do it right quick here with the iPad. Oh, he's out, man. This dude's knocked the fuck out. So, anyways, while we were doing the sound check, Gene comes over to Paul and points at Bob, and Paul's like, and they said hi. And then about that point, Eric Singer, of course, has to comment. He's like, the voice to Kiss, Jerry, I forget his name. There was another guy there from Vegas. He's actually known as the Mentalist. He actually helped put together the TV show, The Mentalist, and he's done a show in Vegas for years. So we had a celebrity there with us that I guess nobody in Fort Worth recognized. Really cool guy. Had a good time with him. So Eric introduced him as the voice of Kiss just to rib Bob a little bit. So it was all in fun.
Did he read your mind?
No, he was totally out of character. He didn't want to
Oh.
deal with all that stuff.
Okay. All
But he
right.
told me, he says, come to Vegas and I'll get you in the show. You'll have fun. I'm like, okay. So then we went backstage and hung out a little more and got some food. And
How was
then
the
they said
food?
it was a hot dog. It was a hot dog. Then they said, well, y'all need to get in line at 7:30. I'm like, what are we getting in line for? They said, well, you're going to get a picture with the band. I said, I am. And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So I wait in this long line and then it starts moving. And then I see Doc McGee, the manager of Kiss. So I go up to Doc McGee and talk to him. And I said, Doc, can I take a picture? He's like, yeah. And he smiles. He's got these huge white teeth, very Hollywood teeth.
Yeah.
So I
yeah.
got to meet Doc McGee and hang out with him a second.
He's seen a lot of shit, boy.
He has. Former Motley Crue manager.
Yeah.
So then I got into the room with Kiss and I'm kind of like, what's going on here? And then they said, look at the camera, and they snapped my picture, and then out I went. And they said, yep, that's all they do with the meet and greet. You just get your picture with them. And they were saying, Eric said something and I couldn't tell what he said. It's a very surreal moment. Like, okay, that was just really weird.
Wow.
So I'm waiting for that to be put up on the web page because their photographer took that. And then after that, I guess it was time for the show. So Bob went to the soundboard and me and the Mentalist guy went up to our seats, which was right close. And I'm going to tell you what, and this is not being ass kissing or anything. That might have been the best concert that I've ever seen in all of my life that Kiss put on that night. And I've seen the End of the Road tour 3 times now, but there was just something really special about it. They really had it all full force. So
they're putting in their blood, sweat, and tears on these last
are.
few shows.
And Paul even said that he had gotten a flu shot and wasn't feeling well, so his voice didn't think it was to par, but he sounded great. And all these people, including you, Ace Frehley, who say that Kiss don't sing, that it's all lip sync, it's a lie. They are really singing. I was right there and saw it. And no, Paul doesn't sing like he did in the 70s or the 80s. The man's 70-something years old. I would like to see any 70-year-old man go on stage wearing platform boots, makeup, costumes, fly around in the crowd and sing. I'd like to see it because I don't think most of them could do it. So people need to just shut the fuck up, especially Ace Frehley. I'm really sick of Ace Frehley and his mouth. He's running his mouth this week again, saying he's going to show Paul Stanley up with his new solo album. Like, Ace, nobody gives a shit about your solo album, honestly. You're going to play a few clubs on tour, and if you get lucky, you might open for Alice Cooper again. So they really do actually sing 100%, and there are impurities to it. You can tell when things aren't right, but this time it sounded great, man. I've been to a couple of those shows in that past few years, and I'm kind of like, Paul's just awful, but he sounded good, man.
Oh, good.
And
Man.
Eric Singer is the heart of the band. He sings on every song, but kind of helping the guys out.
Yeah.
So concert was great. Then we were going to the back, and Bob was on the phone with Eric Singer, and we finally found Eric Singer, and he was still in his Catman makeup. And honestly, that was sort of a fanboy moment, I guess. Because, I've been listening to Eric Singer since the 80s and Black Sabbath and Badlands, and it wasn't a big deal. But when he was in the Catman makeup, I was like, oh, wow. And he's like, look, he said, I can only get Bob backstage, so you're going to have to go home. And I'm like, I got to go home? He's like, yeah, but I said, well, let's get pictures. So I got pictures, and then I also got a tour jacket, an actual Kiss tour jacket. So got pictures of Eric Singer and got me a tour jacket.
You lucky bastard.
Well, you should need to be buddies with Bob, I guess. Got to thank Video Bob for that moment. It would have never happened without him. And I got to thank Eric Singer for giving all of us the opportunity to enjoy the show. So I'm very, very high on the Kiss camp right now. In March, I'm going to Vegas, and I'm going to have lunch with Bob and Eric. And I won't be so fanboy by then, because he won't be wearing the Catman makeup. So
He's
he's
a little guy too, isn't he?
Eric's short, yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Gene's huge. So anybody standing next to Gene is,
especially with the boots on.
But then Saturday, I got more to the story. Gene was signing bottles of his new vodka, Moneybags vodka. So he was doing signing. I think it was on 7th Street. Yeah, I couldn't remember for a minute. So I went to that and got to hang out with Gene for again, and Gene was just cool as ever. He said, he gave Bob like 3 hats, the Moneybag hats, which has his little symbol on it. And Bob said, if you go see Gene, wear that hat, because he's going to remember you right away. And he did. And he said, yeah, he said, I like the hat. And he just smiled. So then it was one of the grandbabies, Madeline's birthday. So Gene made a video for her even and sung happy birthday to her for a second. So Gene Simmons is one of the coolest dudes there is. I can truly say that. So I spent the whole weekend with Kiss, so I guess I shouldn't be depressed over a haunted house, but I am. But I love the Kiss show.
Oh,
because that's it, man. I didn't go to Austin, so that was my final thing with Kiss. And honestly, I could never, ever, ever go to another show that will ever top that again. The only other experience that would be similar was probably the Motley Crue reunion tour, the Carnival of Sins, when I was backstage. It was different then because I'd gotten backstage. I knew their webmaster, or who used to run their webpage. So I was back there kind of the whole night. And I'm telling you, though, I don't think I can go to another show and it'll ever even come close. So I may be retiring from concerts and haunted houses. I guess I'm just a podcaster now, or a YouTuber. Are we YouTubers now?
I guess.
I guess.
So, I just would consider ourselves digital creators.
Okay, I'm a digital creator. But I still got the Count Karabi Museum here. I'm curator of, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Kiss thing was great. That's all I can really say. I'm very blessed, very lucky. And, they are one of my favorite bands. So it's not like I went and saw Def Leppard, yeah. I've met many musicians, many bands in my day, but Kiss is the best. And December, they will be retired from touring, and that's a fact.
Well, cool, man. I'm glad you got to go. Very envious for sure, but I'm glad you had a good time, brother.
I did. And I know the last 3 shows you've been trying to talk about a movie.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a movie. We're going to talk about a real fucking shitty one.
Now, this is not a movie review. This is a movie critique. So spoilers, if you have not seen the movie Exorcist, what's it called?
Fuck, I don't even know.
Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, the new Exorcist.
If you haven't seen that, then you might want to go ahead and turn the show off because we're going to spoil this movie rotten. Spoil it rotten.
Yeah.
So we know it's a Bloomberg, as I call it, production. And me and Brett haven't had a whole lot of luck with those
Oh,
guys, especially.
I found out today that it's pronounced Blum.
Well, I'm still going to call it Bloomberg. Oh, it's Blumhouse?
Blumhouse, yes.
Well, that even sounds stupid. Now they've put out they're the ones who did the first Insidious, which is a great movie and very unique movie. They did Megan, and they've done several other movies, but when they started trying to restart franchises is when we got into problems.
Yes.
Because they are the people who produced the Halloween trilogy that Brett loves.
Mm-hmm.
You gave Halloween Ends a -0.
Yeah.
So
I give this piece of shit a triple fucking -0.
worse than Halloween Ends?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, I made the mistake of seeing it in the theater. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Did you see it in the at the good theater?
No, Lisa has trouble walking into that theater sometimes, so we just went up to Fossil Creek and yeah.
Okay. All right. It might have been better if you seen it at that theater, the one we went and seen what Halloween Kills at.
It might have been better if I was watching in the bathroom as I was taking a potty break, because that's what this movie is. Shit. There is nothing redeeming or good about this movie whatsoever.
No.
It's one of the worst movies I've seen in the modern day. It was terrible.
It's an embarrassment to William Friedkin, for
And
sure.
William Peter Blatty.
Yep. For sure.
I mean, I know people are not fond of The Exorcist 2, but at least they tried. The Exorcist 3 was brilliant. Then they had those two prequels, The Beginning, and I forget what the other one was called. Then they had the TV show. The TV show's actually pretty decent. If you haven't seen it, it's not bad.
Yeah, they only did what, 2 seasons?
2 seasons, and it didn't make the ratings. Fox is real strict on ratings. If you don't get a certain spot, they will cancel you. But this thing, ridiculous.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan.
No, I wasn't a fan, period. We almost left.
Really?
We almost left in the middle of it. Lisa's like, you want to just go? And I'm like, no, maybe it'll get better.
Were you bitching through the whole thing?
No, I was just kind of like, what the fuck?
Really?
I mean, it starts out, these two girls just walk in the woods and all of a sudden they're possessed. But this movie sort of trashes on the Catholic Church, who are the ones who perform exorcisms. It's a very woke movie on top of everything else.
Yes,
I just don't.
It did have its moments.
I don't particularly care for the woke movies, that have to fit a category to make everybody happy. It's sometimes that's okay, maybe, but not for The Exorcist.
No.
And I mean, without the Catholic Church, there is no exorcism.
Well,
it's their. I guess I think the Jewish rabbis do exorcisms, but I don't know, man.
But it wasn't scary.
There was nothing scary in it. There was nothing gory in it.
No.
There was nothing shocking in it.
No, there wasn't.
The original Exorcist is still shocking, honestly.
Yeah. Just the fact that you can't believe that they made that kind of movie in 1973.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. But I think David Gordon Green needs to give it up, at least on the sequels, prequels, lequels, fucking tequels, whatever. I think he needs to give it up.
And sequels.
Yeah.
Well, we're not the only one who thinks so. I've been following this webpage called highdefinitiondigest.com since DVDs were a thing. And they trash this movie worse than we do.
Really?
They actually talk about David Gordon Green, I guess, started in the Pineapple Express and then rebooted the Halloweens, which they didn't like. They said that The Exorcist Believer is a badly made movie from someone who seems to hate horror films and good filmmaking. In the end, each audience member will suffer. Not only do you suffer from painful 2 hours to get to this movie, but Gordon Green decides to bring back key original characters and utterly destroy the traits they had going on. He did it in Halloween, and now he's done it to Exorcist.
Yeah, he made Michael Myers a pussy, for Christ.
Blumhouse or whatever the hell it's called. Jason Blum should take responsibility. To quote a wise Jedi, you were the chosen one. Because everybody knows this Bloomberg or whatever, we're doing a great job with horror movies. But my God. And remember, they're the ones who put out that Texas Chainsaw reboot from that ended up on Netflix.
Oh.
That was Bloomberg.
Okay, yeah. That's right. Well, that wasn't bad. But did David Gordon Green direct that?
Just a Blumhouse film, I believe.
Because they sort of made Leatherface a pussy in that too.
This movie is rated R, but no one will be able to tell because it has no bad language, with the exception of a few mild cuss words. No gore. It's a no balls deflated half-ass horror movie that is irredeemable and unlikable.
Wow.
Another element from the original movie that made it memorable, it was scary. This movie was not. The other movie the original was extremely vulgar and viciously violent, molded from a young child. It worked. This movie is, they call it sewer garbage.
Damn.
Yeah. And their final take is the Exorcist Believer is a major embarrassment for everyone involved. There is no horror here, no brutality, no gore. There is no semblance of character arc or coherent narrative to make this film scary. It's as if David Gordon Green just scotch taped together some ideas he had and turned in a first draft and no one questioned it. If anyone is expecting anything on par with the original, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary, please skip this movie and pop in the new 4K UHD transfer of the original movie. Or just watch The Exorcist 2, where it feels like the movie at least tried, which is what I said.
Yeah.
Don't give the studio any money or there will be 2 more sequels that will be even worse. Save all money and skip it. So that was from my friends over at highdefdigest.com. They hated it too. So it's not just me and you. Lisa hated it as well.
Well, it was awful.
Well, on a scale of on our 5 scale, I would give it a 0.
I told you I'm giving it -0, -0.
So it's worse than Halloween Ends?
Uh,
It is.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I don't mind Halloween Ends as far as the story with that.
Yeah. We've talked about this before.
But there's nothing. I'm just saying I can watch it and get through it. This I could never watch again.
No, just the storyline in this thing, it was just awful, man.
And then at one point, we won't give too many spoilers, but one of these kids that have a demon in them pokes a woman's eyes out. And what do? Shouldn't somebody have called the police?
Exactly.
I don't think Linda Blair almost killed anybody in the original. Well, except for at the end. I mean, but that wasn't Linda Blair. That was the demon himself.
And she killed Burke, threw him out the window.
Yeah, but the police were already involved at that point. And this one, plus
Well,
they're
no,
in the
that's
mental
why that's
hospital.
why the police were involved, is because
Yeah.
Bert got thrown out the window.
Well, shouldn't the police got involved when somebody got their eyes poked out?
Exactly. And
Yeah,
that was Chris McNeil, Reagan's mother, who got her
Well,
eyes poked out.
I'm telling you, this movie's terrible.
The best thing about this whole movie,
Is
I'm
when
gonna
it
tell you
ended.
right now, was the very end when Linda Blair made an appearance for like 15 seconds. She's still gorgeous.
Yeah.
I've always loved Linda Blair, and I was very surprised when I heard she was going to make an appearance in it, but I didn't know it was going to be at the very end. So that's a
Check
big
out her
spoiler.
mother that had her eyes poked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
They made
Exorcist
a whole
believer.
they made a whole storyline about that. Half the storyline was about that.
Yeah, which made
The
no sense.
mother-daughter thing. Yeah.
Well, it's awful. It's ruined. There'll never be another Exorcist movie after this. So,
You know, they would have been better off making a direct remake and have
I
somebody
think you're
else do
right.
it, and have somebody else do it.
I think you're right.
Like Eli Roth. I think Eli Roth could fucking do an amazing job on an Exorcist remake. Scene for scene.
Well, when a movie's 50 years old, there really doesn't need to be another sequel unless there's been a line of successful sequels, maybe, which The Exorcist has not had. The Exorcist 3 was the only one that was actually a hit and critically acclaimed. The rest of them have all been crappy. Honestly, I mean, they're better than this, but yeah, it's time to lay The Exorcist to bed. And I think it's time to lay all these demon and ghost movies to bed, the Conjurings and all of them. It's the Nun 2. It's time to move on to something else in horror.
Yeah. Need a new slasher person.
Well, supposedly they're going to make a Halloween TV show and maybe a Friday the 13th TV show. And when we say TV shows, it's all on streaming now. So there'll be 6 episodes that are movie quality. So that could be cool.
Yeah. The Halloween. Didn't we talk about this too? The Halloween universe or whatever. Yeah.
But after the last voyage of the Demeter, which was absolutely phenomenal, this was a shit show. And also in the middle of that, the Saw, whatever, 10 came out, and it was good. We'll review that eventually.
Yeah.
But my God, we've had 3 horror movies come out, and 2 were great. Well, 2 were good. 1 was great. And this shit show.
Well, I'm telling you, you need to go see if you can get a 7-day subscription to Hulu for free.
And what?
Watch these movies that I've watched on there.
What?
The new Boogeyman movie. It's really good. There's a really cool alien movie called No One's Gonna Save You. It's like an alien abduction movie. It's really good. And I just watched this movie called Cobweb, which has the little kid from Voyage of the Demeter in it. And it was really good. So that's 3 movies in the last week that I've watched that have all been good. But they're all on Hulu. So you're screwed.
I'm not going to pick Hulu back up. I just canceled it. There wasn't nothing on there to watch, so I canceled it.
They're getting better. And plus they got the FX on there too. You get the FX with it.
Yeah, that American Horror Story. I started watching it this year, but since I got cut off, I can get it actually on my whatever I've got now, Sling TV, but I just haven't. Now that all the Halloween shit's over with, and just be World Series, a couple more games, and then everything will be back to normal. Then I'll be back to work. So blah.
Back to work. Blah. Yeah, I hear you there.
But that's our stories for the week. I guess this is a weird midweek episode, but I don't know. Maybe it'll be successful, and we may do the midweeks once a month as a free for all instead of the main episodes.
Yeah, we might be able to do that.
We'll see how the viewership is.
The schedule's been all screwed up because
of COVID, and we'll just blame COVID like everything else. No, not COVID.
I was gonna say all the haunt bullshit.
It was haunt bullshit.
and we
yeah.
and we recorded early and late and
Yeah,
early.
we've been recording. Then I did a midweek, and then we did a regular episode the day later. So I guess Sunday everything will be back to normal.
Yes, we got to figure out something to do. We've been fucking off here.
Well, we don't know yet. I'll find that out about Wednesday or Thursday, I guess.
Oh. Well, you got anything else, Carl, that you want to
No,
say?
I'm just looking through movies
all the
here on
evil
this side.
ones?
Hmm.
Anything else you want to say to all the evil ones before we go?
No, I don't think I posted my kiss pictures on the group page. Maybe I'll send the links from if you're not on my regular Facebook, if anybody wants to look at any of that stuff. I'm sure some might find that interesting, and some probably don't even know who Kiss is. So all is good. They are 50 years. This is Kiss's 50th anniversary, just for the record. So, they've been around a minute.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people like Ace Frehley will be very glad when they're gone.
All right,
That's all I
everybody.
got.
Thanks for watching, listening. Ain't had a Apple review in a while. Let give us an Apple review, everybody, and subscribe to I think we're up to 250 subscribers on the YouTube now. So
We also got the merchandise. It was on sale.
yeah,
this
it's been
weekend.
on. Yeah, it's been on. I think it's still on sale through midnight tomorrow. But
Well, by the time they watch this, it'll be over.
yes, I know. I
Sorry.
usually post it in the group and on my page, but
Yeah, no, I've been looking for that post and I never saw one, so I stumbled across it by mistake.
been busy,
Yeah, we got
man.
the evil. Here it is. See, this is the long sleeve Evil Never Dies shirt.
I got my new shirt on. Can you see it?
I do. I got one of those too.
Yeah, I got the middle-aged and creeped out guy's new shirt. The one with Nate on it. I don't have to
the
draw him.
engineers on it.
I don't have to draw him anymore.
Nope. I'm glad to got that. I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt because I've been working outside today and it's fairly cold here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So
yeah, I had to wear long pants. You see, I got my suspenders on. So
yeah. So I went ahead and wore a long sleeve shirt. So yeah, thanks to the creepy guys enjoying my new shirt. I'll be wearing that out and about.
All right, everybody. Thanks for again, and we will talk to you later on Sunday. Stay evil, everybody. Bye.